ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸ ਐਡਵਰਡ ਆਈਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਦੇਸ਼ ਯੂਕਰੇਨ ਤੋਂ ਲੋੜੀਂਦੇ ਅਨਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਭੁੱਖਮਰੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਹਿੱਸਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿ ਸੰਕਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਘਿਰੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਅਤੇ ਰੂਸ ਨੇ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਮਝੌਤਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਸਤਖਤ ਕੀਤੇ ਹਨ।
First of all, let me be very clear. Canada's confidence in Russia's reliability is pretty much nil. They have demonstrated nothing but poor faith. They have precipitated a global energy crisis, a global food crisis with their illegal invasion of Ukraine. And the rest of us have been working very, very hard to try and mitigate those issues around the world. On grain, I can tell you that it's an issue that Canada, with a significant amount of expertise in grain and grain shipping, has been directly engaged in that with partners around the world for many, many months now. We are optimistic. I had a conversation with Secretary General Guterres of the United Nations just a few weeks ago about the work that they're doing to find a way to get this grain that is in silos in Ukraine out to places around the world. I was in Africa a few weeks ago to talk to world leaders there who are extremely concerned with the shortage of grain, and I highlighted for them Russia's responsibility in creating and precipitating this grain crisis. The G7 is working closely with partners like Turkey and others to ensure that we can get that grain out of Ukraine and to places around the world where it's needed without putting at risk Ukraine's sovereignty and protection. That's what we'll be watching very, very closely to make sure that this does not put Ukraine further at risk of being further invaded and attacked by Russia. Russia is responsible for this global food crisis because of the wrong-headed decision they took to invade a peaceful neighbor. We are now working very hard to solve it, and I hope for the sake of the global south and everyone around the world we're able to solve it. I've had many conversations over the past number of weeks and months about the real concerns we have about a number of different organizations across the country that are not fulfilling their responsibility to keep our kids, keep our athletes safe. That's why we've made clear requests of Gymnastics Canada and others for more transparency, to sign on to accountability measures, because yes, we need to continue supporting sports, and there's so many great volunteers across the country contributing to young people being able to stay healthy and in sports, but we need to make sure we're doing it in a safe way, and we're going to continue making sure that as a government and working with other orders of government, we are pushing for changes that make sure that our kids are kept safe. Well, I think it's not even about responsibilities to government, because yes, we're demanding that they sign on to the Organization for Integrity in Sports as a condition to flow funding, but they shouldn't be worried about satisfying the government. They should be worried about satisfying parents across the country, that they're keeping their kids safe, that they are an organization promoting the kinds of values, the kind of safe environment that every parent has a right to expect for their kids, that we want kids to model. I mean, the number of little kids who look up to sporting figures, if they are in challenging situations or organizations that aren't taking proper care of them, that has a cascading effect to society. We know we have to do more, and this government is making sure that that happens, but I really want to give a shout out to all those parents across the country who have been speaking up, speaking out, all those athletes who've been bravely standing up, like all those gymnasts who've said, you know, this has got to stop. We need to listen, we need to act, and that's exactly what we're doing.